I'm Dr. Lindsay Coble.
Dr. Noelle Crosby, and this is the Sound Sisters, the Hearing Diaries. And today we're joined by Dr. Suzanne Yonker. And Suzanne and I have a long Florida history. She's an audiologist, mentor, advocate, and one of the few people, I think this may be three of us maybe, who has served on as the president of the Florida Academy of Audiology more than once. She's at number two, and I was just trying to talk her into maybe doing number three at some point. So we'll see. But Suzanne has built an incredible career spanning clinical care, leadership, telehealth, and professional advocacy. But she's also faced profound personal loss after the sudden death of her husband, just as they were entering their empty nest years. So today we're going to talk about her career and leadership and resilience and finding your way through life's unexpected chapters. So, Suzanne, welcome. I'm so glad that you're here today.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you. So let's just start at the beginning. Tell us a little bit about how you got into audiology in the first place.
Okay. I was really going to school for pre-med. I wanted to be a doctor. And of course, as a 17-year-old, I was a very young college student, going into a big university from a very small high school was like, wow. And if you go the pre-med track, they want you to take
Oh, yeah.
16 hours and you're taking organic chem, you're taking zoology and like all these other courses on top of, right? So guess what? Organic chem kicked my, what.
Okay.
And I realized somebody had told me in the class, you have to love to study all the time when you are pre-med. And I went, oh no, I want to party. So I said, well, this is maybe not for me, but I was still very interested in biology and chemistry and like all of those subjects. So eventually I talked to a friend who was in speech pathology. She's like, you should try that. So I went in that direction and I was just like, oof, this is just not doing it for me until I had intro to audiology course.
I
And
love it.
once I took that course, I was sold. I was like, this is where I need to go. My heart just knew it, and that passion kicked in. And guess what? I did love to study because the subject had
Right.
me studying, and it's been a passion ever since.
Yeah. Now, didn't you go to Florida State like after me, I think, when,
I did. We were
yeah.
actually there together because I was just starting. Maybe it was my sophomore year doing some things, and you were still there, and you were running
Okay.
that. Remember the camp that we went
Oh,
to?
yeah, that's right. Camp Challenge. Yeah,
Camp
I
Challenge.
forgot
And
about that.
I volunteered there, and we
That's
were working with
right.
the deaf children and learning our sign language and everything. And anyway, it was really,
Yeah,
really
that's
good.
right. I remember that now. So
Yeah,
many years ago.
I know, I know, I
Oh
know. I was
my.
saying I've been an audiologist I used to say for over 30 years, and now I'm like, over 40 years. Oh no.
Yes.
Just for those who don't know, Suzanne, what has been your career workplace trajectory? Where all have you worked in your career?
Oh, wow, great. No, I've had some great opportunities in my career. Obviously, I was very clinical. I used to do all the pediatrics, do all the diagnostics, vestibular, ABRs, finding acoustic neuromas, all of those things. Very exciting. And eventually, I got into being a trainer and
Mm-hmm.
eventually got into being fully in a corporate role of
Hmm.
quality assurance. And
Oh,
that's
Yeah.
really where that path started of me knowing rules, laws, statutes of every state and developing protocols and writing a manual of protocols. And so I went in that path for a very long time of
hmm.
like director of audiology, but that quality assurance piece to make sure providers were really getting the best education and performing the best
Mm,
practices, right?
nice.
And then eventually we got into telehealth, teleaudiology, and this is way before COVID. I'm talking 2016.
Yes, I kind of remember when you we were all like, "Oh, what's that about?"
Yeah, and we had a full development of telehealth through equipment and such because we wanted to service more rural
Mhm.
areas where, audiologists just don't get out there, or maybe we had a part-time clinic that an audiologist could only go 1 or 2 days a week. How
Mhm.
do you continue the service, right? We wanted to use technology and we built this whole thing and we tested it out. And then at that time, that's 2017. the company that I was with decided to restructure,
Mm.
and my position was no longer there. So I was let go. And but the former CEO moved to Your Hearing Network, which is a Demont
Mhm.
company, and he then invited me to join him there and continue the telehealth process.
Mm.
So I had been in telehealth for years. I actually was an audiologist. I have three licenses, so Florida, Ohio, Arizona.
Mm.
And I would be in Florida at my home and see patients and treat patients in Arizona.
Mhm.
We had a
Even
facility
way
there.
back and
This
in
was 2018 at this
okay,
point,
okay, gotcha.
before COVID.
Yeah,
Mhm.
And so 2018, 19, and then that's COVID's coming around. I was still doing that, but it was very pioneering, and
Mhm.
the concept wasn't catching on. So eventually, even after COVID, wasn't catching on. It's very expensive to buy the equipment for
Mhm.
audiologists to equip a satellite office, let's say, to be
Mhm.
prepared to do that. But anyway, through that, now the telehealth was going to be discontinued with YHN. And
mm,
then Hearing Life, which is
Mhm.
also a Demont company,
Mhm.
happened to have a position open of director of compliance. And
Mhm.
knowing my background in quality assurance, that seemed like a natural fit for me. So I
Yeah.
did, applied, and that's where I am today. And I'm actually in my fifth year at Hearing Life as director of compliance and loss prevention.
My
So
God.
again,
The
overseeing, making
career. Yeah.
sure
yeah.
we're doing the right thing.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
But what an example too of how you can get outside the box of clinical work and see, do other things, which has been kind of a resounding theme of burnout. And if I get bored doing one thing, what else could I do? You've had
Yeah,
such a
and
career.
that's not a job that or a position, that you really hear much about, really,
No,
and
somebody
it
has to do
probably needs to
compliance
be
and quality
more
assurance.
prevalent,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
more bigger, I mean, in larger corporations, because,
Yeah.
how do you monitor that your staff or your employees are actually doing all the things that you want them to do?
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that is very interesting. I love that career path for you. So were you before you went to the company that you were with for a really long time, were
Mhm.
you in an ENT office? Is
I
that where you
was. I was in
started?
an otoneurologist office. So
Oh,
that's
okay.
Oh,
why
okay.
I could see a lot of interesting cases, and
That's great.
they he would do surgeries and things of that nature. So
Hmm.
that was
Yeah.
fascinating to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Such
kind
a
of
good
like my
foundation.
path.
Hmm.
I got to go into the surgery room sometimes. I got to, learn all about, the doctor I worked for developed surgeries for Meniere's. He was a big Meniere's expert. And so I
Mm-hmm.
felt like I had a really strong background because of having that experience, which was
Mm-hmm.
good.
Hmm.
But let's kind of switch gears with your involvement in the Florida Academy of Audiology
Hmm.
and Florida in general. I know you also do a lot of presentations for us about best about medical errors and
Yeah,
things like
preventing
that.
medical errors. Yes,
Yeah.
I taught that at AAA, American Academy of Audiology, last year, and then this year I did a course on managing challenging patients. Sometimes our patients get a little unruly, and how do we manage those? So
Yeah.
I think they're both really well received.
Yes. And then how did you get involved in being part of the Florida Academy of Audiology board and all of that?
So back in the day, we only had FLASHA, which was, the audiology and speech pathology group, got very much involved in just understanding the rules, the laws. Again, my passion for knowing what's right, being an advocate for us. And then eventually, Florida Academy of Audiology segmented out. And I was, again, I think I have that charter member
Yes, I
certificate.
remember that. Yep.
And and that's where I really got to know Noel there. Really great people. I loved the way it was forward thinking. Florida, to me, in audiology, is very forward thinking. I think we prepare for the future. We offer that opportunity. And then I wanted to be on the board. I was like, "Oh, I'll start with secretary, I'll start with whatever, and you just kind of work your way up." So
Yeah.
um, just enjoy those challenges, and being a part of that future group, even to the, I don't know if you remember, Noel, but we changed supervision of audiology assistants. Direct supervision now can be with technology. And
Right.
we changed that
Hmm.
state law.
When you
When
were
I
on the board, that was a
Nice.
cool.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, that was so needed.
And a
Hmm.
big
Yes.
undertaking to change the laws like that.
Oh,
That's right.
yes. Yeah.
Suzanne, what leadership lessons have stuck with you over the years? You've sounds like you've been such a leader through your career and kind of trailblazer of things. And
Yeah.
what's kind of stayed with you?
I think, and I still have to do this today, is force myself to listen. Because we have so much knowledge,
Mhm.
you almost can finish other people's sentences, which can be rude. And I have to stop doing that. So I do conscientiously say, keep your mouth shut, keep your mouth shut, just because I want to be the listener
Mhm.
and I want to give that respect. And so I think, don't let your experience outshine somebody's need to tell
Love
their
that.
Yeah,
story.
that's such a good lesson.
Yeah, because we all think we know it. Oh, I've been there, I've seen that, but looking at it from a different point of view, you may see something different.
Hmm.
That is a great lesson for all
Sometimes
of us, I
leaders
think.
just take over, that, well, whatever you think, this is really how it should be done. And it's like, well, if I listen, I might learn
Right,
something different. Yeah, I like that.
right,
Yes. So
right.
let's switch over to life's unexpected
Mhm.
turn. So just tell us a little bit about your husband's accident and what happened and kind of where you were in life with that and everything.
Sure. So this was 2018. Now I had just started with YHN and
Mhm.
my telehealth career path with them. Um, and so it was very exciting. Our children were in college. So we were empty nesters to that degree. And we were really, it's a point where you start to kind of redate each other. We actually made Friday night date night again, and we would go on vacations. I mean, we really enjoyed each other, just getting back together, getting a groove back, right?
Right.
And so in June of 2018, well, actually it was May 31st, my husband, who, knowing my husband's personality, he was a paratrooper in the Army. So he
Mhm.
likes risk, okay? Jumped out of airplanes for no reason, right? Ran with the bulls 9 times in Pamplona,
My gosh.
Oh
Spain.
my gosh.
I didn't know
Um,
that.
rode motorcycles, like that was just his personality,
Mhm.
and he was a lot of fun.
Mhm.
But to the downside of the risk taking, he decided to buy a one wheel skateboard, which is
Mhm.
a skateboard with one wheel and it's electric, and they were brand new coming out.
Mhm.
And it's one of those where you lean forward and it goes fast, and then you lean back and it slows down. So that being said, he got it the first day. I think he was 55. And I'm looking at him like, you're going to break a hip. Like, I just know it. You're going to break a hip.
Mhm.
Old man, get off of that. Right? He would
That's
have
for
none of
young
it.
people.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to do it. And of course, the first time he's trying, he's all padded up. He's got a helmet. He's all padded up. I'm like, okay, that's fine. I saw him do it. And he was really good. He's very athletic. Okay, you're dealing with that. So I go to work the next day and I come back from work. It's about like 5:30. And I see him on the skateboard now with nothing, no helmet, no
Mhm.
pads, no nothing. And I'm like, stupid idiot. I'm shouting out the window, stupid idiot. I'm like, okay, I'm going home to make dinner. And he's like, okay, I'm going to do one more loop around the block. Okay. So I'm making dinner and like an hour passes and I don't see him. And I'm like, what happened? So fast forward, he must have fallen. There were no witnesses. Something happened on that skateboard and he smacked his head on the street.
Mhm.
I didn't know. He was ended up being in a coma for 9 days,
Oh.
and there was nothing they could do. They kept showing me his brain, the scans that they were doing, like as if I'm supposed to understand what I'm looking at. And they're
Yeah.
like, "You see here, there's no blood and there's no activity, I guess." So,
Activity. Yeah.
um, you
Well,
know,
how did you
at
find
this
him? How did you realize that he had?
So I was really getting mad, like pissed that I made dinner and you're not home yet. Did you
Mhm.
stop at your friend's house to grab a beer? Like, what's happening? So I'm driving the neighborhood, like,
Oh.
I'm going to start yelling at him soon. And
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
don't see him. And so I go back home. He's still not home. I get back in the car and I do a wider loop in the neighborhood with my
Mhm.
car. And I see a bunch of policemen
Oh.
on the street and some things roped off. And then I see the skateboard on the side of the road.
Mhm.
Oh my
And I
gosh.
ran out and I was like, what's happening? That's my husband's thing. That's my husband's thing. What's happening?
Yeah.
And they're like, who are you? And of course, he had no ID on him. So they didn't know who
Yeah.
he
Who he
was.
was. Oh.
So I'm like, that's my husband's. And they're like, okay, ma'am, he had an accident. he went to Delray Trauma Center, and I'm thinking local Boca. I live in Boca Raton. He's not at the local hospital. They had to take him to trauma in
Mm.
Delray. So I'm still naive. I don't know what's going on. I get to Delray by myself. I'm waiting in the waiting room, thinking he's going to come out with a broken hip,
Mm.
broken arm. They're telling me nothing. And then they're like, okay, your husband's coming out now, and we're going to take him upstairs to the room. And he's literally on the gurney, stretched out with the collar and the tube down his throat and his head wrapped. And I lost it. And sorry. And then the police were, questioning me, and it was just and I was all by myself, and it was just very, very like surreal,
Yeah.
and you think, okay, he's going to wake up, right? So we go up to the trauma level 4, whatever it is, level of the hospital. And I remember the nurses saying, "You're here by yourself." And I'm like, yeah, I mean, my son's home from college, but he's out on a date or something. And my daughter's still in college. She's in DC. And she's like, "I think you should call somebody." And it just, again, I wasn't thinking like, what do I need to do? I'm just
Mhm.
thinking he's going to wake up.
Mhm.
Right.
And lo and behold, I had to fly my daughter down. They had to take his skull off to allow the swelling of the brain room.
Mm.
Fortunately, I have really good friends and family.
Mm.
And, we didn't know what to expect. So you're taking this one day at a time. And
Yeah.
his mother is still alive at the time. And I was driving my kids back and forth to the hospital so she would be with her son. I would be with my husband. My kids would be with their father
Mm.
every day, twice a day. And just every day it was like, we don't know. They wouldn't tell me anything. And it ended up being 9 days that the neurologist said that there's no activity happening here. And the kind of encouraging you to say that you're going to take him off life support.
Mm.
And that to me was probably the hardest decision because you're
Oh, I
signing
bet.
papers to end somebody's life for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. Mm.
Yeah.
Um, and so, you're doing that every day, and I'm trying to be strong for my kids. And I have to tell you, the company YHM was so good to me. I was worried about PTO. Like, I'm like, what am I doing? I'm not
Like the things
working,
we worry
I'm
about,
Yeah.
thinking about
right?
all these things. And they're like, don't worry
Oh.
about it. Just take care of yourself, take care of your family. So they were awesome. Um, and then we made the family decision to take him off life support. And then they take him to hospice. And now, so he has no breathing help, but he was in such good health and his heart
Mm.
was so strong that he continued to live on his own for 3 more days in a
Oh.
coma.
Mhm.
But we did prepare for funeral. We prepared for everything. My parents are still alive. I've
Right.
never had to plan a funeral.
Mm.
Yeah.
We didn't have a plot.
Yeah.
We didn't have plans for when we pass away.
Oh.
So I had to
Yeah,
do
you
all
were
that,
just
buy the
starting your
plot.
second half of your life.
Yeah.
Exactly. And here I am buying a plot and planning a funeral. And anyway, it's as they say, we plan and things just sometimes don't
Yeah.
go the way we plan.
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
have a lot of faith. Um, very much prayed. My sister lived with me.
Yeah.
So after 3 days in hospice, he did pass away. And then and my poor daughter had to go back to school. It was rough. My
Yeah,
kids,
that's so
honestly,
real. Yeah.
but when you're in that position, you want to protect your kids. You're going to be there for your family. You're going to be there for your kids. And my son actually floundered when he went back to UF. He didn't do well.
Mm.
And I had to go up and drag him out and say, come home.
Mm.
You
Yeah.
need to regroup,
Yeah.
so it
Oh.
it it trickles down in so
Yeah.
many ways.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, it was a tragedy. I My husband was a banker. I didn't even know what our mortgage was. I never paid the bills. He paid the bills.
Mhm.
I didn't know where anything was. I didn't have passwords to his account. Like I tell all my married friends, you guys need to share
Lessons
those
to learn.
things
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I didn't know how to get into our checking account. Nothing. We didn't even share the checking account because the way we worked it was I got paid, I'd give him the money, he'd put it in an account, he'd pay all the bills. We just had this way.
Right.
We had our own credit cards, but I didn't know how to pay his credit card. It was just
Yeah.
all of those logistics that you're dealing with
That you
Yeah.
as
don't
well,
think about when you're
that you
50
don't think
bucks.
No.
about,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
you
Yeah.
know.
So that's a good lesson for people listening to this show to whether you think it can happen or not, it can. And so prepare yourself, for
Mhm.
sure. I
Yeah.
remember when our other friend passed away, Mark, how, his kids didn't know anything. He was divorced, but it was like his business,
Mm.
no one knew anything about what to do with that.
Yeah,
So, and that ended up where his kids really lost the value of the business because there was
they didn't
nobody knew
know.
anything. So
Yeah.
that taught me a lesson back then. And then just listen, I'm going to go home and talk to my husband tonight, get all your
Hmm.
passwords and
It's so much so true though, to have that conversation, but yeah, I
but
agree.
thank you. Thank you for sharing that. I'm sure even now, as I can see, it's not an easy thing to talk about for sure.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it's been 8 years, June, because
Yeah,
it took him till June 12th to actually pass away. So,
yeah,
but yeah, I mean, it doesn't leave you. You do move on with life, but there are plenty of occasions where I still fall to the ground
Yeah.
and just cry, you know?
yeah. Well, and I do too. I remember somebody told me about it. And so I know I was like, okay, what can we do to support you and help you?
Hmm.
And then, I think we didn't really see you much for a couple of years, of course. And then I remember, when you came to a Florida Academy meeting or something, and it was
Mhm.
just like, I just wanted to, comfort you. And
Yeah, I
so,
know. You guys have been great. I mean,
yeah,
everybody, the audiology community, I can mention. So, ironically, when I was at YHN with telehealth, I was working with Lydia Gladwin, and you know her
yes,
well.
yes,
And she was a great partner to work with, and she was so supportive through all of this. There again, when you talk about dear friends and colleagues,
yeah.
it's so important to have that.
Yeah, and that's we're going to have a conversation after about girlfriends, how important
Hmm.
it is to
Hmm.
have that support team for you. So that's a good segue into that, right, Lindsay?
Yeah. Well, and I think, like Suzanne, in those early days, you said your sister came and lived with you. Your kids had a hard time. Like Noelle said, it's like when we all have friends who go through really hard times, like what did you feel like you needed in that time?
Yes, I love that.
Did you need space? Did you just need your sister? Sometimes it's like the friends are like, do I send flowers? Do I show up at
Yes.
the door? And it's
Like, what
like,
do I say? How do
I
I
don't know.
support?
Yeah. No.
Well, to be honest with you, I liked that people reached out to me. And I think the
Mhm.
biggest misconception is people are either like, I don't want to bother them,
Yes.
but I think that reach out, even Kurt's banker friends and colleagues reached out. And I so needed that because I needed that validation that other people recognize the situation and they
Mm.
valued him.
I love that. Yeah, that's a good point. It's a great point.
So it
Yep.
gives
Mhm.
value to that life. So I totally needed that.
Yeah, I like that. That's a
Yeah.
good lesson. And I feel like hearing it from someone who's been on your side, that's nice to know that do reach out. You're not bothering them. They do want to hear.
Yes.
I like
Yeah.
that.
And so gradually you discovered, yeah, I know you and I have had a lot of conversations about rediscovering Suzanne, and
Mhm.
I'm sure it looks different and I think probably one of the hardest things might be is the expectations you have for that part of your life, and you have to
Mhm.
just realize that you're not going to have that anymore. How did you kind of come into the new life that you have and adapt to what your life is going to look like without him?
So my husband and I were avid, we still are, I am, an avid snow skiers. Okay. We would go
Okay.
snow
Mhm.
skiing all the time. In fact, we used to have a condo in Vail prior, and then kids, we sold it before the kids left, but we would ski all the time. We grew up, my kids grew up. So I stopped doing the fun things, right, for a period of
Mhm.
time.
Mhm.
But then I was like, I want to go back skiing, but I don't have anybody to ski with. None of my friends ski.
Mhm.
So I found there's this Boca Raton ski club. And so this was probably 2 years. I like for 2 years, I was pretty much a homebody, just
Mhm.
Yeah.
taking care of kids and things. And then I decided I would join this Boca Ski Club just to go skiing with a group of people that I don't know anybody.
Mhm.
And I did join and I went on a terrific ski trip, met some really good women, and became really good friends with them. And the one friend then said to me, I belong to a sailing club. You should join. And I'm like, I don't sail. I've never really been on a boat. I mean, maybe I've been on a boat, but never actually sailed it or anything.
Hmm.
She's like, no, 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 they'll teach you. They'll teach you. So lo and behold, I joined the sailing club. And lo and behold, yes, they're teaching me to sail. So between that, it was just honestly, God puts people in your life
Hmm.
for reasons. That is my full belief. And going on that ski trip, meeting my friend Jeanette, who is in skiing and sailboat, and she got me introduced. She really helped me get back into some socializing.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm so grateful for those
And
people.
and we know you're still busy at work and still making a
Still
difference in the
working. Yep. Still working. And to some extent, that's a nice distraction from the other stuff. You know what I'm saying? I
right.
mean, again,
Yeah.
enjoying your work,
Yeah.
enjoying what you do. Let it be a distraction. You need some
Hmm.
peace, some opportunity to not have to dwell on things all the time. And
Yes.
I really enjoyed that I could still do that, and still had a job. Um, yeah, and then when this compliance opportunity came around, that was even better.
Yeah.
Really enjoying it. So
Yeah. And still presenting and still,
still
being
presenting. But I'm
yeah.
going to tell you a funny story. So if this comes up, the dating world. So I never thought I'd be in that position, right? And funny story. And I know this show is for women, but anyway, this could go anywhere. So my gynecologist, annual gynecologist, checkup. He's known me forever. He delivered my babies. We're like almost friends when we talk, and he's like, so this was like 4 years after Kurt's passing. He's like, are you dating? And I'm like, no, no, can't even think about it. He's like, you need to start dating. For my gynecologist, I know.
It's a little
And I'm
push.
like, what does that mean? And he's like, no, you don't need to fall in love again. Just go out there. Just meet people, meet men that you want to have a good time with. So he gave me that permission.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
from the
love that.
Hey,
gynecologist.
my
Yeah, the gynecologist. I
gynecologist.
would have never known it came from
I
him.
know.
Take it
You would
from
think a
whoever.
friend or somebody, but he knew me. He knew my
Yeah.
husband, and he was just an authoritative figure
Oh,
that could say it's
yeah.
okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I love that. I'm glad you
Yeah.
shared that too, Suzanne, because I think so many women are so worried that, they shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah.
And I know even just the conversations that we've had about some of your, we've had a lot of fun, just laughing and enjoying her stories and everything. So yes, I'm so glad that he encouraged you to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is
Suzanne,
great.
I'm sure your outlook on life has changed so much since 2018. Maybe what would you say to someone else going through something similar, or how has your outlook changed? How has your leadership style changed? Like what's changed about you since getting through that loss?
So always in the back of my head, whenever plans are made, I'm like, these could change on a dime, but we're
Mhm.
going to go through with it. So
Mhm.
I remember in an interview for my current position, the person interviewing me said, so tell me about your 5-year plan.
Oh,
I
oh.
said,
Hmm.
I don't have a 5-year plan. I
Uh-huh.
am going to live for today. I'm going to plan, but I'm going to enjoy today.
I
And I'm
love
going to enjoy the people in my life today
that. Uh-huh.
and appreciate the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Uh-huh. Mhm.
Make the plans, but understand you might need to pivot, and
Mhm.
Yeah.
that's okay.
Mhm. You
Yeah.
probably shocked that HR's world.
I did.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's probably a better answer than
I'm
anyone
making a
else's.
5-year plan.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Mm.
Well, listen, do you have anything that you want to add to the conversation that we haven't covered? And then we'll move into our rapid fire. Anything you feel we missed? Any points?
I think audiology, I believe, should continue to evolve in different spaces. And because of my outlook of, embrace what life gives you, and do plan, but be ready to pivot. I think we can not weather a storm, but just take the approach of let's see what else can we do from a scope of practice. What else can we do? Let's challenge ourselves. I think me joining a sailing club, and I'm actually learning how to sail. I'm learning how to be a captain of a sailboat. That's so crazy. I would have never thought that. But it's being brave to do the things
Yes.
that are uncomfortable, to push yourself forward. And I think audiologists need to do that. Like we might have to come out of our comfort zone
Mhm.
to
Yeah.
embrace a new scope of practices.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I look forward to seeing what that looks like.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Me too. Me
I
too.
think
That
that is
Yeah.
a good way to
is a
think
good way
about
to end.
audiology, I feel like,
Hmm.
and life in general.
Mhm.
All right, well, let's do our rapid fire. So, what is one word that describes you?
So it's funny, we must be on the same wavelength, Noel, because resilience. I think
Yeah.
I have learned resilience, and I think that's
Early.
important in life.
Yeah.
And I don't think, I think if that had not happened in my life, I might not have that skill.
Hmm.
Oh,
Hmm.
it's a good skill to have.
Are you a coffee drinker? What's your coffee order? Your favorite coffee order?
So I go into Starbucks and I say, I will have a tall American coffee, leave room for half and half. I can't get into the grande. I can't get into the lattes. I can't get into anything. So it's basically a typical cup of coffee with half and half.
With half,
There
and they
you
have to,
go.
sometimes they'll fill it up so high, and the coffee's so strong, you need almost like that much
I always say,
for
leave room for half and half.
yeah. And what is a sound that makes you happy?
So I have three cats, and
Mhm.
all of them lay on my chest in bed at some point.
My,
And when they start purring,
Uh,
it just sets me at ease. It's
oh,
such a
yeah.
comforting sound of like, thanks, Mom. We're glad you're here, you know?
yeah.
They're just letting you know we
We're
appreciate
happy
Exactly.
you.
being right here.
Exactly.
What
Exactly.
is the best advice you've ever received?
Mm. Probably from my
The
gynecologist.
gynecologist push.
Start
Yep.
painting again.
Love
All
that.
gynecologists have to hear that message, so they'll be more encouraging. What is a skill you'd love to master? And you were sailing, maybe, right?
Sailing. Sailing.
Absolutely. I would love to take a sailboat and go visit some islands, maybe go to
That's
Bahamas,
amazing.
but be the captain of that sailboat.
Yeah.
Takes a lot of skill, takes a lot of practice and things. And so, um, or there's an opportunity to be crew where you can be on a crew website and captains from all over the world will invite you to crew their boat.
Oh,
And that would be another one that I want to have that skill set to be able to be on a crew list for world.
that would be amazing.
Interesting. Oh,
Captain.
Yeah.
maybe you can be on Below Deck one day.
I know,
In
right?
your next life. That would be great.
Definitely.
Where do you see hearing healthcare in 10 years?
Ooh.
It's a loaded one.
Yeah. So again, talking about scope of practice, I know, I think we should go towards, I know some states are doing this, but go
Mhm.
towards where we can write prescriptions for images,
Mhm.
right? Where we see, okay, you have signals of an acoustic neuroma or signs, and we recommend, the CAT scan or whatever we would recommend, but we would be able to do that without somebody going through the physician. Obviously, direct access is
Mhm.
super important. I hope in 10 years, it better be sooner, that
Oh, I
audiologists
know.
have that capability of direct access of care for patients. I think pharmaceuticals,
Yeah.
we will become involved in some pharmaceuticals, especially when pharmaceuticals are affecting hearing, which I do believe that will come. Or maybe like they have some out there for noise induced hearing loss where you can take something to prevent noise
Mhm.
induced hearing
Right.
loss. So I think I would like to see that. And I do see that our scope of practice expanding more medically.
Yeah.
Um, and of course, AI is going to be there, but AI to me is going to do the background work, right? Help write reports, help
Yeah.
keep our charts organized, our bills paid, whatever it takes, but
Mhm.
not that human care that
Mhm.
patients still want.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. And what is a warning label that you should come with?
Hmm. Um, I can be a mama bear, a
Oh,
bad
bad
ass
mama bear.
mama bear
Yeah.
when needed. It
Yeah.
doesn't come out. I don't have a temper, but
Mhm.
if you mess with somebody I really care about, trust me, I'll be unrecognizable.
Yeah,
We'll know who to
yeah.
call on for that if we ever need it.
What's one thing people might be surprised to learn about you?
Hmm. So I think, I say this, but I'm not a good reader. I really
Mm.
don't like reading.
Hmm.
I am not one to pick up a book for leisure.
Hmm.
I would rather have the TV on in my background of my house just to have that audio on, that
Hmm.
noise. But
Hmm.
I
Right.
like some people are like, oh, I just want to curl up with a book. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, no.
Not
Me either. Me either. I try so hard. I know it's supposed to be so good for you and so
I
calming, but it's like
know.
I
no.
struggle. My friends
Yeah.
laugh. They're like, it's gonna take you 4 years to read that book. I'm like,
I
then I'll
used to love
forget
to
what I
read,
read. Oh,
but now I just listen. Now I'm like,
there
I don't
you
have
go.
time to read. I got to
I
walk
know.
around and listen, and I love doing that.
Yeah.
We're all about the bees here. So which bee are you? Curious, brave, bold, kind, or happy?
Hmm. I guess brave. You
I would
do
say
have to
so.
be brave in life. Being married, I was married for 24 years. You rely on your partner, right? To do a lot of things. For instance, buying a car. I've
Yeah.
never bought a car on my own.
Hmm.
That was an experience to do that. But again, being brave and saying and confident, like I can do this. Just pull it
Hmm.
together, fake it till you make it, whatever it takes. Yeah, I guess that's the word I would use.
Oh,
Hmm.
yeah. No, I see that for you for sure. All right. So moving on, thank you very much, Suzanne, for answering those questions. It was great. Is we were going to talk a little bit about our Be Curious segment this time. And it was something that actually Suzanne brought up. It was a article that was in the hearing review on hearing health longevity, a blind spot. What is the blind spot? And since I haven't read it yet, you tell us a little bit about like it's just more about people don't consider hearing as part of their longevity. I can't even talk to their longevity plan. People don't consider hearing as part of their longevity plan. It's a blind spot. They just don't even realize how important it is. I would
Hmm.
say that's probably, looking at factors that make it more important, correct? Yeah.
Absolutely. I think when people talk about their aging plan, right, they want to be healthy, right? They want to eat better. They want to exercise. They want to do all these things, but they're not paying attention to their hearing health care.
Hmm.
And we know how critical it is to continue to be social, to continue to do things in life, to continue to challenge yourself cognitively. And hearing is important for that. And so it's a very interesting article, and it's a nice way to describe, something that's lacking in that
Yeah.
future planning of
Yeah.
ourselves.
And how we can really help encourage people to really take it more seriously too.
Hmm.
So yeah, thanks for bringing that to our attention. So that is in the most recent hearing review. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, perfect. I'll probably share it to my Audiology Always Facebook page. And I'll
Yeah.
do a little blurb about why it's important to read it. So yeah, thank you for bringing that up. Well,
Sure.
Suzanne, thank you so much for sharing your personal, your professional journey. Your life is such a reminder that leadership isn't about titles and accomplishments. It's about resilience and moving forward, even when life takes an unexpected turn. So thank you so much for sharing such a thoughtful conversation that we just had, and I really appreciate you joining us. So,
Well, thank you both for the opportunity. I love your show, so I will definitely look forward to more segments going in the future.
yeah, thank you. And to our listeners, thank you all for spending time with us. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and always be curious.
And we'll see you next time on the Sound Sisters.